Hi, welcome back to our conversation club. The topic for this month is disasters. So, if you didn't watch our video yesterday, we were discussing the submarine implosion that happened in June of this year. Today, we're talking about a topic that I actually didn't hear about in the news. I didn't hear about this until it appeared on Lingua House, which is the resource that I use to give my classes. Okay. But it's called From Air Catastrophe to Jungle Success in Colombia. So, what happened was there was a small plane carrying a mother and her four children, and it crashed in the Amazon rainforest in Colombia. Okay. So the mother and the pilots died in the crash, but all of the children survived. They were siblings. And so they survived by eating, the plants that were safe to eat and finding safe ways of collecting water, and looking for help. And finally, they were discovered more than a month after they disappeared, and they were all alive. So this one had a happy ending, unlike the submersible. But have you heard about this story?
No, no, I really, no, I have not heard about this story. I read something about that yesterday, but no, it's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I was surprised that I hadn't heard anything about it because it was a very impressive story.
Yes, because the children are very young. One
Yeah,
is,
the
I think,
oldest
4 years
was
old.
like 12 or 13. She wasn't super young, but the youngest was a baby.
It's one 4 years old,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
and the other uh, 11 months
Yeah, they were some like 12, 8, 4, and 1, something like
and
that.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but I think about that, and I think the youngest, the baby with 1 year, I think
Yeah.
he couldn't walk. He
Maybe. I mean, that's usually like, I mean, maybe, but also in the rainforest, it's not the same as walking on the street.
Yes.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a very different atmosphere. So yeah, I can imagine. But I think that in that culture, the older kids take care of the younger kids. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of a normal thing for the youngest girl, the oldest girl, to be taking care of her siblings.
Yes, but as even is incredible.
Yeah.
1 month, they just they in the jungle with so few mosquitoes or poison plants or something like that.
Yeah, and they were actually found only a few kilometers from the airplane. So I think that they were like going around looking for help, but they didn't realize that they were kind of going in circles.
Uh-huh.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, because they were like 4 or 5 kilometers from the
Uh-huh.
airplane 40 days later. So I think that they were not really aware of the direction that they were going in.
But I think it's like nobody knew that that plane had four kids
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
because,
there was a
they,
rescue effort to find them. So they were being, obviously, someone knew because they were looking for them. But
since the beginning, since the crash happened, they started to looking for the children. I
I think
don't think so.
Oh, okay. Maybe not, but maybe we'll. I think if I understood correctly, they were from an indigenous tribe that are, for example, if they see a police officer, they run because they sometimes this is not like a safe person for
Yes.
these
Mm-hmm.
indigenous tribes. So it may have been something like that where they were discovered, but they didn't trust the person who was trying to help them.
Yeah, it's very strange, very rare, but
Hmm.
incredible, incredible.
Yeah, yeah, it's an amazing story. So
Hmm.
this is so let's start with some questions and conversation, okay? So it says, what are the remote places in your country like, and what dangers are there for people there?
Mm, remote places here in Mexico. I think also the jungle in Chiapas,
Yes.
uh, uh, and also also the jungle in Guerrero,
Mm-hmm.
the rainforest in Guerrero, and I think a desert. Is desert? No.
Yeah.
How do you? Yeah,
Desert.
desert.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, desert.
Desert
Mm-hmm.
in the north, in north, in Sonora, Chihuahua, because it's very big, very extensive. The area is very extensive.
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of dangers does someone have if they're in this desert or if they're in this rainforest?
I think that the dangers first is you can lost there,
Hmm. Get lost.
and also in jungle. Well, we can there are animals, dangerous animals. No? For example, snakes, mosquitoes. Or if you receive a lot of uh, how do you say, mosquitoes, a lot of
Bites. Mosquitoes.
fight for mosquitoes is could be danger because they have uh, a little quantity of poison. Then is danger, and here in Mexico also is danger because the the danger people of the cartel, the
Right.
cartel could be there, could be there hiding or working or I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I think honestly that the biggest danger is the people in a lot of
Yes.
cases. Hmm.
Yes, I think also that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, or the climate, so if there's an extreme heat in the desert or something like that and you get lost.
Yeah. I I I have been in the desert of in Sonora
Hmm.
because we 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 made a tour and we visit that desert and we explore some 1 hour, no, just 1 hour or 2 hours. We walk in the desert. The heat is incredible. You can it's you can in sometimes or in some moment you can breathe so
Yeah.
heat you can breathe so it's the heat is extremely high.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's like that in my home state of California.
Uh-huh.
There are some deserts where the temperature can be over 50 degrees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What else? Have you ever spent time in a remote place? What was it like? If not, what kind of remote place would you like to visit?
Um, well, for example, I already climbed the Popocatépetl.
Okay.
Maybe it's not a remote place, but the high
At the
the
top,
high
yeah, it is.
the top is I think could be a remote place.
Yeah.
um, and there in the top, just our group. We were a group of climbers. I don't know if it's the
Climbers, yeah.
climbers. Uh-huh. Uh, I think it could be a remote place, the Popocatépetl, and also the Iztaccíhuatl.
Yes. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the volcanoes or maybe even the pyramids.
Ah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is also Palenque and Chichen Itza.
Mm-hmm.
There are remote places because it's there. Uh, you don't find a lot of people. Well, if you go with in a Holy Week, you can
Mm-hmm.
find a lot of tourists. But normally, no, you can find a lot of people. Nobody lives there, or nobody. There are no houses, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a forest also, a jungle. It's part of the jungle.
Mm, okay, okay. Yeah.
The place is, I don't know if it's good to say, the place is immersed in the jungle,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or it's deep in the jungle, we could say also.
deep in the jungle. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And how long do you think you would be able to survive if you found yourself in a remote place without food? Why?
Wow.
That's a good question.
Without food, you can survive. I don't know how many days, but you can survive without food.
Mm-hmm.
But without water, no. I think
Right.
if you have water, you would be able to survive um, days,
3 days
several.
without water. That's what they
Uh,
say.
with water, you would be able to survive several days. But
Yeah.
without water, it's impossible. 2, 3 days. I don't
Yeah.
know. Mhm.
That's what I hear from like extreme explorers is that if you don't have water, you die in 3 days. But if you have water but not food, you can live for up to 3 weeks with
Yes,
just
yes.
water.
Mhm,
Hmm.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, let's look at. So, what we have here is some words. This is the definition of the word. For example, covering a large area. Okay.
Okay.
But it's missing one of these vowels A, E, I, O, or U. Okay. So, for
Okay.
example, this one, the missing vowels are E, A, I, and again, E, and the word is extensive, covering a large
Okay.
area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we're looking for a word that means leave someone in a situation which is impossible or very difficult for them to get out of. We're missing just one vowel there in the middle.
Is, is, strength.
Strand, yeah. You might recognize the adjective stranded.
Mm-hmm.
It means stuck somewhere. You
Ah,
can't
yeah.
leave. You might recognize that word, strand.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
What about
Mhm.
the next one? Being in a situation where doing something is very difficult.
Mm, hostility,
Mm, Hostile.
hostility or
Yeah, so we're
hostile.
missing OINE.
Hostile.
Hostile
Mhm.
or hostile. Those are both correct.
Hostile. Hostile. Mhm.
Okay. Being native to a place and whose family have existed there for a long time and have developed the land.
Mm, indigenous.
Yes.
Indigenous.
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 Yep.
Indigenous. Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. To search for naturally available food.
Ah,
Is for forage. Yeah.
forage.
So
Mhm.
what we'll hear later on is that the kids had to forage, for
Right.
example,
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
plants or things that they could eat in the jungle.
Okay.
Okay. Being temporary and used instead of the real thing.
Mm,
Make
instead of real thing, make it make it makeshift.
Yeah, it's like improvised. So for example, if you don't have an umbrella, but it's raining,
Mm-hmm.
then whatever you use to cover yourself from the rain is a makeshift umbrella.
Ah, okay.
It's not the
Mm-hmm.
real thing, but it's just something that you can use for that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about very thick and difficult to see or pass through?
I don't know. Then see.
Dense. Yeah. Like in
Yeah. Then
case talking about the jungle or the rainforest, we would say the
I got then.
yeah, the
Uh-huh.
trees were dense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to remove people or objects
Thick,
from an
sorry,
ah,
thick es
grueso.
thick es grueso. Ah,
Ah,
ya.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
hmm So if they had like a lot of trees together, we would say they're thick or
And you
dense.
can see, you can see in at
Right.
the
You
other
can't
side.
see through them easily. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
hmm Okay. What else? Remove people or objects from an area with aircraft when conditions on the ground are problematic or dangerous.
Airlift.
Yeah, airlift. Like with a helicopter, something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Airlift. Okay. So let's copy these words. Extensive strand, hostile, indigenous, forage, makeshift, dense, airlift. Okay. So let's see if we can fill these words into these sentences. So it says, oh, and you can change the form of the word if necessary, like conjugate the verb.
Okay.
It says, while we were driving through the Scottish Highlands, our car broke down, leaving us blank. miles from the nearest town.
Um,
We were stuck,
hostile.
like we couldn't leave this place.
Ajá. Hostil.
Why
No.
don't we skip this one and come back?
Okay.
Okay. When it became clear, sorry,
Sorry, it's expensive.
I would say that it's stranded. We just need
Um,
to conjugate this or
expensive.
yeah, change it to the adjective form here.
Sorry, sí,
So,
stock.
yeah,
It's stock.
stranded, to be
Mm.
stuck or abandoned somewhere.
Mhm.
Okay. When it became clear that we weren't going to get out of the forest before it went dark, we put our raincoats over a branch to create a blank tent for us to sleep under.
To makeshift,
Yes,
a makeshift tent.
a makeshift tent. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. I keep my food bills low by blank for berries and fruit in the woods near my home.
I keep my food bills low by
Searching.
forage.
Yeah, foraging.
For
Hmm.
foraging by
Foraging.
foraging.
Yeah,
Mhm.
foraging for Mary.
Mhm.
Okay. After the earthquake, the military blank hundreds of people out of the affected areas.
Airlift hundreds.
Airlifted.
Mhm. Airlifted.
Yeah. Okay. The oil companies are trying to force the blank people from their land so they can profit from it, but we're going to stop them.
Hostile. No,
You,
indigenous.
yeah, I
Indigenous.
think, yeah,
Mhm.
indigenous.
Indigenous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And after an blank search covering over 300 square miles of jungle, the lost village was finally found.
Extensive search.
An extensive search. Okay. Although the desert is a blank environment with its extreme temperatures and little in the way of food, the tribes have been living there for thousands of years.
Hostile environment.
Mm. Okay. And progress through the blank forest was difficult as there were no paths and care had to be taken not to trip and fall.
It's dense. Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect. Okay, so let's listen to this report and we're going to try to remember the numbers that relate to these different things, like the number of dogs, the age of the kids, things like that. Okay, so let's listen. Can you hear it?
4 children who had been missing in the jungle in Colombia have been found safe. The children, who were aged 13, 9, 4 and 1, managed to survive for 40 days after their plane crashed into a remote area of the Amazon on the 1st of May. Fortunately, the children were natives of Colombia and, as children, had learned which fruit they could eat in the jungle and find ways of safely collecting water to drink. The children were taught the important skills needed to live in the jungle from an early age. The oldest child, Leslie McAtee, had been given responsibility for her 2 sisters and brother at home when their mother was away, and so was able to take them all to safety. The Colombian army looked for them using helicopters and 10 specially trained dogs. They were unable to find the plane until the 16th of May. Unfortunately, although the children's mother had survived the accident, her body was found with the plane, together with the 2 pilots. She had asked the children to go and look for help without her. When they were found, the children were only around 5 kilometers away from the plane. Although they were hungry and needed water, they were all alive and well. The children have all been taken to hospital in the city of Bogota in Colombia to receive treatment following their incredible experience.
Questions? Questions or
Um, mm, mm, mm. No.
okay.
It's strange that the searching for the authorities started or was implemented until May 16.
I think that's when they found the plane.
Yeah, they
So they were looking before that, but they couldn't find anything until 2 weeks later.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
They
it was
find
too
it.
late for the mother. She died, but the
Or
kids
the
were still alive.
searching, the searching spent 2 weeks to find the crash plane.
Yes, and another 3
After
weeks to
2
find
weeks.
the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, how many dogs did they use in the search?
10.
10. Mhm.
10
Okay.
dogs.
The age of the oldest child was
1 year.
the youngest was 1, and the oldest was
Sorry, 13.
13. Okay. The number of days the children were alone in the jungle.
40.
40. Okay, I realize now, I think we listened to the wrong. Yeah, I think I needed to play a different audio. Let me try again. Is it this one? Yes, this one.
There are reports from Colombia tonight that 4 children who have been missing in the Amazon jungle since the 1st of May have been found safe and alive after an extensive search by the Colombian military, who used a team of 10 Belgian shepherd dogs. 150 people also volunteered to help. In a remarkable story of survival, the children, aged 13, 9, 4 and 1, were stranded when their plane crashed in the hostile environment. Fortunately, having been raised within an indigenous culture by their family, the eldest children had learned the skills required to forage for food and build makeshift shelters to keep the others safe. It was this knowledge that allowed them to survive for 40 days. Authorities were alerted to the crash and feared for the lives of the children. However, when footprints were found near the crash site, as well as partly eaten fruit, hopes were raised and the search effort continued. The military launched 10,000 flyers giving survival information into the area where they expected the children to be, and also dropped 100 food kits over the jungle, covering 323 square kilometers. The dense jungle made the search more challenging, as did the fact that the children were on the move. Several times, the search party unknowingly came within 20 to 50 meters of where the children were finally found. The people who finally found the children were the indigenous members of the volunteer search team, who called out to the children using their native language. They were 5 kilometres from the site of the plane crash when they were discovered. They have now been airlifted out of the jungle by helicopter and taken to Bogota, the capital city of Colombia, for medical treatment. With the story capturing the hearts and minds of people around the world, the children's grandparents gave thanks to everyone who had helped.
Okay, that was the right one. So
Okay.
we have the dogs 10, oldest
10,
child was 13,
13,
oldest child was 1.
1.
Children were alone for 40 days. Okay. The number of flyers dropped over the area containing survival information.
10,000.
10,000, yes. Okay. The number of food kits dropped in the area to help the children survive.
100.
100. Mhm. The number of square miles covered in the search.
323.
The distance in miles the children were from the plane when they were found.
2250.
In miles.
In miles.
Those were the meters that they
Ah,
came within, but they
I
were
don't know
only, actually they mentioned the
the distance in
kilometers. It was,
kilometers.
yeah, 3 miles, which is around 5 kilometers.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so they were very close to.
Yes, very close.
Yeah. Okay. So let's skip over this and this is there. Let's discuss these questions. It says, what is your reaction to the story of the 4 children?
Surprise.
Yeah.
It's a surprise. I think first they survived to the crash. That's the
Yeah,
form. The form.
yeah.
That is incredible because the mother died, the 2 pilots died, and the 4 children survived. This is incredible. This is
it's amazing.
Amazing. That is in the first. And second, they survived again in the jungle. Yes, they are indigenous, but they are children, and not necessary because they live near of the jungle and they are indigenous. Not necessary. They survive just without food and without water.
Right, not just anyone, just because they were indigenous doesn't mean anyone would have survived in that situation. Yeah.
Something happened for they to survive.
Yeah, for them to survive.
For them. So,
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Okay. So if you had been in the same situation, do you think that you would have survived?
Yes.
For that long? 40 days?
Well, this how do you say this feeling of I don't know, this feeling to survive, the adrenaline, this need to survive, that I think is human. It's like a need to survive.
Yeah, it's an instinct for sure.
And this feeling make you fight to survive, fight in all sentence, in all topics, looking or searching for food, for water, maintain your brain clear to survive. I think it's a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. The self-preservation instinct would definitely kick in.
Yes, that self-preservation to 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 survive. Mm.
Yes. Okay. What else? Do you think more people should be taught survival skills as part of their education? Why or why not?
Um, I think yes, it's um, in the cities or in a lot of places, always uh, this natural catastrophe or disasters occurs. And then if you have these survival skills, it's easy or you can respond in this situation, a earthquake, a tsunami, always will be people that had to apply these uh, survival skills or knowledge, no?
Yeah, and I think the type of survival skills could depend on where you live. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, in Mexico City, we need the earthquake survival skills. So,
Uh-huh.
and that's why
Mm-hmm.
we do the simulacro, the practice or the drill
Uh-huh.
for the earthquakes. But people who live in other types of environments might need to learn different types of skills.
Yes, for example, in the people who live um, and near to the ocean and in
Mm-hmm.
the coast, they have to have these survival skills for how do you say inundaciones?
Floods.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Floods. Uh-huh. They have to know these topics about floods,
Yeah.
how to respond, where they can run, they can cover the food, something like that.
Right. Yes, in my hometown, it's fires. That's the big danger because the
Yes,
climate is very, very hot and
for
also dry.
example. Uh,
So if there's a small spark of a fire, it explodes very quickly and you
uh-huh.
have to respond immediately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes, you are right. The survival skills depends of the place where you live.
Yeah, depends on the place. Okay. What else? Are there any indigenous communities in your country, and how are they treated by the rest of the population, and why?
That is a good topic. Yes,
Yes.
we have indigenous communities here in Mexico, for example, and they are treated always bad. In bad, they normally they live in bad conditions. They are mar, mar,
Marginalized.
marginalized.
Hmm.
They are criticized because their language or their
Hmm.
um, yeah, their language, um, yeah, so they are always or many times they are bad treated, very bad.
Yeah, historically and sometimes even today. The
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
And
what?
we have a lot of community of these indigens in the around the Mexico, um the country.
Yes, many different languages, and even within the language group, there are different dialects of the same language.
Mhm.
And that just goes to show how long those people have been here. It really shows that, when Jesus was doing his, 2000 years ago, these groups had already been there for 10,000 years.
This land, is their land.
Yes.
They are here since the beginning of the
Of time. Yeah,
of the time.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, the time that the settlers have been here is nothing compared to the time that they have been here.
Yes.
Hmm.
And they have been fighting a lot for their land, for their language, to defend their culture,
Yeah.
their community. Mhm. In this time, they are a little bit protected by the government,
Yeah.
but a little. It's not so much.
Yeah, there are some policies and like that they have the right to speak their language or conserve their land, but I don't think it's enough to protect them sufficiently.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. But as a teacher, I'm very interested also in the conservation of indigenous languages.
Mm.
Consider that to be part of my project or part of my goal as a teacher.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's it's very sad, very
Yeah.
sad. Look, to look how they are treated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really, there's no justification for it because they were here first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
What else? What effect do you think this event will have on the relationship of the family and why?
Um, I don't know, but I read that the family is fighting about who are going to care the children.
Okay.
They are fighting about for that. I don't know why, but they have a fight about that. Why? I don't know. I don't understand. I think maybe because they are indigenous, they have their own rules in the community.
Hmm.
Because maybe it's because that um, I said that because in the law is clear who uh, who has to care the children. In the law said that if the mother died, the children have to be cared by the father. If the father died, the children have to be cared by the grandmother or the grandfather. The law is clear about that. They are fighting because maybe they are fighting because they have their own rules in the community.
I see. Okay, okay.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So, custody battle, we could call it.
Yeah, the human being is very complicated.
Yeah.
We are we made fight about
Yeah.
all
Everything.
all things,
Yeah.
all process, all behaviors cause in the human being a fight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any more questions for today?
Mm, uh, uh, um, mm, mm, No, I don't think so.
Okay. So our topic for next week, this one was not so recent, but about 5 years ago, there were some people exploring a cave in Thailand, and they
Okay.
became trapped inside the cave because
Uh,
the cave became flooded and they were unable to escape. So they
mhm.
spent like 1 or 2 weeks inside this cave with no food,
Okay.
and they
Uh-huh.
survived.
Okay.
So that's
Mhm.
the topic of our lesson for next week.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here, and we will meet again next week. Okay.
Thank you, Lana.
Okay. Thanks. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.